1066, this was the year that changed England forever. The Norman Conquest, led by William the Conqueror, was not just a tale of war but a turning point that reshaped the political, cultural, and social landscape of England. But how did it all begin? Let's uncover the dramatic events of the Norman invasion and how it defined the course of history. The story begins with the death of King Edward the Confessor, who ruled England from 1042 to 1066. Despite being a respected ruler, Edward left no heir, plunging England into a succession crisis. Three powerful leaders claimed the throne: Harold Godwin's son, an Anglo-Saxon nobleman, and Edward's brother-in-law, William, Duke of Normandy, who claimed Edward had promised him the crown, and Harald Hardrada, the King of Norway, who believed his Viking heritage gave him the right to rule. Harold Godwin's son was quickly crowned King of England, but his reign would be anything but peaceful. Harald Hardrada invaded from the north, supported by Tostig, Harold's own brother. This marked the beginning of the first major conflict in this chaotic year. On September 25, 1066, Harold Godwin's son defeated Harald Hardrada at the Battle of Stamford Bridge in a bloody and decisive victory. The Vikings were crushed, and Hardrada was killed, along with Tostig. However, this triumph left Harold's army exhausted and ill-prepared for what was coming next. Just 3 days later, Duke William of Normandy landed on the southern coast of England with a massive invasion force. His army was well-trained and equipped, with knights, archers, and foot soldiers ready for battle. Harold had no choice but to march his tired army south to meet this new threat. On October 14, 1066, the two armies met at Senlac Hill near Hastings. Harold's forces formed a strong shield wall, while William relied on his cavalry and archers. The battle raged for hours. Initially, the Anglo-Saxons held their ground, but William's clever tactics turned the tide. He used a feigned retreat to break the shield wall, and chaos ensued. Legend says Harold was killed by an arrow to the eye, though the exact details remain unclear. His death shattered Anglo-Saxon morale, and by the end of the day, William stood victorious. After his victory at Hastings, William marched to London. Facing little resistance, he was crowned King of England on Christmas Day in 1066. From that moment on, he became known as William the Conqueror. The Norman Conquest brought sweeping changes to England. William introduced the feudal system, granting land to Norman nobles in exchange for loyalty. The English language and culture were forever altered as French became the language of the elite. Norman castles, such as the Tower of London, rose across the land, solidifying William's control. To manage his new kingdom, William commissioned the Domesday Book, a detailed record of land ownership and resources. The Norman Conquest was more than a military victory, it was the beginning of a new era. William the Conqueror's legacy can still be seen today in England's language, architecture, and culture. 1066 remains one of the most pivotal years in English history.